So
nice.
I said, okay, I'll think about it. And that's when I told you that I was going to get my car back on the road. So I thought about it. I go, shit. Okay. Gonna do this thing.
Let's crunch the numbers on this.
Let's crunch the numbers, go back up, and get the shit done. Get the shit party started.
Whoa, I'm the party starter. You might have a good time, but we party harder. So tell the DJ to play my song, and we can dance all night to the early morning. There's a little Will Smith for you, kids.
Yeah.
Telling you.
So I went back up. I'm like, okay, let's do this shit. And he's like, okay.
What are you, Tommy Toehold? Let's do this shit.
It's like, okay, I can't find the quote.
Oh shit.
I'm like,
Mama no.
Mama no. So he started doing it again, and he printed off the basic and the not so basic
Shit.
report. And he was going, punch shit in. And he goes, oh, you've had another accident. The exact same year. I was like, I did?
Wait. Were you trying to play it off like you didn't know you had a second accident?
Yeah.
You should have been like, look, in all fairness, I was really drunk that day.
It's like, man.
Oh, fuck.
2011 was a bad year, man. I had accident. I got fired from work. It was just like, yeah. So,
And the insurance company
you telling
like,
me that I had another accident? I sort of kind of remember that, but it's
quite frankly, I've just wiped that whole year out of my mind.
basically cocaine's a hell of a drug.
You bet it is. Well, shit, that was close, sir. You almost had it. If you'd have jumped on it and taken that deal right there, damn. But, at the very least, you got the car back on the road. You're paying less than you were before. So, all in all, I guess it's a bonus. It's a wingtip, right?
It's okay.
It's okay. Right on. Let's see. What should we talk about next? Got a couple things to talk about before we get into, this is more just kind of shit shooting before we get into some actual serious stuff. You had some other stuff that you wanted to talk about though, didn't you? Some stuff in your head.
Shit.
Should we come back to you?
I believe so.
Okay, fair enough. We've seen a couple of movies lately.
Yeah.
We saw a couple of movies. A couple of movies that we were actually hyped to see, a couple of sequels. But yes, it was a couple of movies that we just we had targeted, last year pretty much, like when we knew they were coming out, we were just like, okay, we got to go see this movie and we got to go see this movie. Those two movies were Iron Man 3 and Star Trek Into Darkness. And we saw both of those movies together, and we're going to hit you with our movie reviews, little mini movie reviews, as much as we happen to remember from both of those movies.
Yeah.
So we'll start with Iron Man 3, obviously the third movie in the Iron Man series. Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, and it's Gwyneth Paltrow, isn't it? Who plays Pepper Potts?
I don't know.
I think it's Gwyneth Paltrow. Anyways,
you're the movie nut.
Yeah, really.
I'm just here to look pretty.
And you do a good job of it, sir. You're welcome. Yeah, so you have Iron Man 3, and in this one, he faces off with a guy who is threatening like domestic terrorism and stuff like that. And the weirdest thing about this movie, to me, the one weird moment that I just kind of looked at it and I was just like, what the fuck is this? And maybe it's because it's a comic book. Maybe it's just a comic book thing. But like, Tony Stark is getting interviewed by the one dude in the media, and he turns around and he's just like, here's my home address and my door's open, so come get me. And I'm just like, why are you giving out your home address? This doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
like kind of. The rest of the movie I thought was very good. Compared to the other ones, like the first Iron Man movie, I thought was fantastic.
Well, any first movie in a series is going to be fantastic.
Yeah,
it sets the bar for every other sequel to the movie.
And more so than that, like to me, the first Iron Man movie, aside from the Batman movies, really like sets the bar for other comic book movies. You know what I mean? Like, just because I don't know, it's something about that movie and him in that role. I just thought like the first Iron Man movie is just great. I tended to like the second one better than most people seemed to. Like, they didn't seem to like the villain in the second one, which was played by Mickey Rourke. He kind of looked like Doc Ock from fucking Spider-Man. Yeah. But I tended to like the second movie a little better than most people. Most people kind of thought it fell a little flat. But, like, Iron Man 3, I think, held up fairly well to the first one. I didn't think it was as good as the first one. I don't know. What did you think, comparing the first one to the third one? I don't even know how long it's been since you've seen the first one.
God, it's been a while, but, Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 3 are basically... I would put them side to side.
Yeah.
I mean, Iron Man 3, I liked it.
Yeah.
There wasn't many parts that I was just sitting like, maybe they could do that a little bit differently, Maybe they could add like a super kick or a friggin', I don't know, leg drop or something.
Iron Man 3 would have been great if they just would have added some wrestling moves.
No, it was perfect. I mean, what can I say?
Yeah, I thought it was really, really good. I'm trying to remember what I gave it on Criticker. In case anybody doesn't know, I just said the word Criticker there. If you don't know what Criticker is my movie website of choice. I think it's like Dutch Run or something. Like, it's not into it's not an American site.
Dutch cheese?
Ooh, Dutch cheese. Yummy. Okay, so I want to go Iron Man 3. Haha. Dun dun. Yeah, I think I gave it like an 8 out of 10, I think. So like an 80. And just kind of said, it's not the first movie, but it doesn't have to be. It's arguably a little bit better than the second movie, even though like I said, I liked the second movie a little better than most people did. But I thought this was better than the second movie. And what I kind of liked about the way that he had to play Tony Stark, like the way Tony Stark was played in this movie, he's vulnerable. And it's like the first time that we've seen Tony Stark kind of vulnerable, because he's having like his panic attacks and stuff like that. Whoa, I just got a text message. Sorry, kids. Forgot to turn that down.
It was from a girl. She said, "Hey, you.
Hey, baby.
Hey, you.
Let's
take a walk on the wild side."
Yeah.
I said, "Hey, you.
You like the
Let's
dust
take
tank?
a walk on the wild side. All the college girls go do, 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 do.
You wearing your rubber boots today?" I don't know what the fuck that meant.
Homestar 1-0.
Homestar 1-0. Yeah, but like I say, it's about as vulnerable as we've ever seen Tony Stark, because he's having his panic attacks because of what happened in the Avengers movie. So it's like it's they're tying all the movies together and they're doing it very well.
They are.
Because it's like, okay, he saw what happened in the Avengers movie, that there's like aliens and they're not alone and all that shit.
But I don't like the Avengers movies.
Didn't you like the Avengers movie?
I don't. I like Iron Man separate.
Okay.
To put them all together,
right,
just does not work for me.
Okay.
If they
Fair
made
enough.
a separate like Hulk movie, I would be happy.
Right, which they did.
Which they did.
And actually they had to do the Hulk movie like 3 times before they did it right.
Yeah.
Because like Ang Lee did one in like 2007 and it fucking sucked. Oh, it was terrible.
Yeah.
It was just bad.
Everything else, but I mean, I don't know.
No, and like the Iron Man movies, the separate Iron Man movies, are the best of any of them. Like, I mean, the Iron Man, you could take the worst of the 3 Iron Man movies, which most people would say is the second one. Could put it up against the Thor, and it's pretty well side by side with Thor, because I thought Thor was pretty good. But like Captain America, it was better than Captain America, because Captain America was it was just there. Like, it was okay, but it was just there. The Hulk movie was okay, but it was just there. So like, pretty much all of them that have had their own individual movies, Iron Man is way up. Like, Iron Man's way up above all of them. Now, I really liked the Avengers movie. It was a lot of fan service, but I really liked the Avengers movie. But it was like, if the Avengers movie is here, and like, okay, let's say the Avengers movie is like the top of your head. Exactly. Iron Man is like your eyebrows. Like, it's very, very close. And then like the rest of them are just kind of lower. But like I say, I really like the Avengers movie, but you take Iron Man and put it side by side with the Avengers movie, and it's very, very close. Iron Man 3, I thought, had a good villain. I liked the way that the villain was done. I kind of liked the swerve on the villain. Like, you thought the villain was one person, but it wasn't. I really liked that. Yeah. There was just that fucking part about him giving out his home address. I just thought it was fucking silly. But in any case, like I say, it was a good movie. Like I say, give it a 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10, 80 out of 100, however you want to call it. Put a rating on it, sir. You got to rate these things.
Do I?
Give it a rating. Either out of 5, out of 10, out of penis, out of whatever you want. 4 penises out of 12.
I'll give it 8 dicks out of 11.
Ooh, that's not bad. Because you turn it up to 11. You don't worry about 10. You turn it up to 11.
I'm like a fucking Marshall amp. It
goes up to 11.
Goes up to 11.
Oh, that's perfect. That's good stuff. And we also saw Star Trek Into Darkness, which we were very hyped about seeing, because I think we were both massive fucking fans of the first one.
We were.
Just really, really good. And we thought that the way that they've handled the fact that it's in an alternate universe, so it's not supposed to be exactly like the other movies,
right? Because
of the time travel thing that Nero does in the first one. It's not supposed to be the other movies and everything like that. And I think we both agree that they've handled that well.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain portions in the second one that they didn't necessarily handle as well as they could have. We talked about one a little bit earlier, which was swapping around who yells Khan.
Yeah.
Because in the original movies, of course, it's Kirk, because Khan directly leads to Spock dying.
Yes.
And in this one, it's inverted, because Khan directly leads to Kirk dying per se. I don't mean to give spoilers away if you haven't seen the movie, but first of all, of course, Benedict Cumberbatch plays Khan. If you didn't know he was Khan, then you know now he's Khan.
Who's pro?
What's that?
Who's pro?
Who's pro? Nice. I didn't even think of that, sir. That's good stuff. That is good stuff. That was funny as shit. And there's a lot of callbacks in this movie to Wrath of Khan, to the actual movie Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
And a lot of fans didn't like that. They were just like, oh, you shouldn't be, it's too much fan service and it's too much this and you're using too much from the old movies. But it's like, but just because it's in an alternate universe doesn't mean that similar things can't happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So, I mean, it didn't bother me. I've seen all the old Star Trek movies, so I knew where a lot of the callbacks were coming from, and I was just like, there's nothing in there that's too egregious, except, of course, for the whole God. I was just, as soon as that happened, I was like, I think I even looked at you, and I was just like, did they really just do that?
Yeah, I think so. You know,
like, all right.
You know what I missed in the second Star Trek flick?
What's that?
Well, you know the first one when like they did the outside shots when there was like, either the phasers or when there was a hall breach and people got sucked out.
Right.
It went from the inside to the outside, and the inside you could hear shit because it was inside.
Okay.
But when you get outside, it was space. It was like, it went from like noise to an outside shot in space, and the sound kind of died out.
Right.
Because it's space. There's no sound in space.
Exactly.
There was no shots like that.
No, it's true. You're absolutely right.
Like the first one, we saw some of that, and the second one, there was none. I mean, you had shots where like the Enterprise was beaten to shit,
right,
and there was holes all over the place. People were getting sucked out left and right. Sucked out.
Yeah. But all right,
I miss that.
Yeah, fair enough. You know what? I hadn't actually considered that, but you're absolutely, now thinking back to those kind of scenes, you're absolutely right. They kind of stayed on the interior where you could hear all the noise and everything like that, but they never kind of, and maybe they felt like, well, we already did it in the first one, so why should we do it in this one? But, you know, at the same time,
left out.
Yeah.
They I hope, I don't know. It's just kind of like a slap in the face there.
I agree. Actually, you know what? I totally agree. That's good insight, sir. I had not thought of that. That's good stuff. I didn't expect this movie to be as funny as it was. I think we both laughed quite a bit, and it was a lot of the laughs came from like fan service stuff, which I thought was perfectly fine. But I honestly just like, Spock was very funny in this movie, and I don't know whether it was intentionally funny or unintentionally funny, but he had a lot of lines. It was really just like when he would throw this, what ends up being a snappy comeback, but he doesn't play it like it's a snappy comeback. He plays it totally seriously, and that kind of made it more funny. Like, made those moments a lot funnier. I didn't expect Spock to be as funny in this movie, because we found ourselves laughing, I thought, quite a bit. Especially for a movie that's supposed to be like sci-fi, adventure, action, stuff like that. I just didn't expect it to be that funny, which was good. The new take on the material, again, with it being kind of an alternate universe sort of thing, still works very, very well. Even though they still have old Spock as a throwback to the original, which I guess is fine because it kind of grounds it a little bit. I didn't particularly like the portion in the second movie with old Spock, with Nimoy. No, because to me, it didn't feel like it made logical sense, which I think is really funny because we're talking about a Vulcan. But it didn't make sense to me because new Spock brings old Spock on like long distance transmission or something. And he says something like, in your travels and in your experiences, did you ever come across a man named Khan?
Yeah.
And Spock was like, as you know, I'm bound to not tell you anything about my timeline, because it could screw you up. That being said, Khan is this and this and that, and he's really dangerous, and he's this and he's that. And then new Spock flat out asks him, he's like, did you defeat him? And then old Spock is just like, at great personal cost, but yes. You just told him a bunch of shit from your timeline. Holy fuck.
I know, but
what are you doing?
He didn't tell him how he defeated him.
That's true.
He didn't like say, buy a Twinkie, put it underneath a cardboard box with a fucking string and a little thing propping it up, and you'll get him.
Khan's diabetic. Just give him a cookie.
Put a phaser on stun. Put it on the top of a door frame.
That's true.
When he walks through it, fucking fall down and just shoot everywhere.
Is Khan one of the Three Stooges? Jesus. And no, that's true. You're right. He didn't tell him exactly how he beat Khan. So yeah, okay, that makes sense. at the same time, I still just kind of felt like you're telling this guy an awful lot about your timeline, which you flat out say you're sworn to not do.
Yeah.
And then he tells him a bunch of shit from his timeline. So,
I guess, yeah.
I mean, it certainly didn't torpedo the movie. I think I gave it like, what I give it there? 8.5 out of 10. So, I mean, it's a good movie. It was certainly a great movie. But like, there was just that, and it's only like a 2-minute scene, but still, it's just like, he's telling him an awful lot about this timeline that he probably shouldn't be. But, again, I think we both thought excellent movie. Can we both agree? Excellent, really, really, really good movie.
Yeah, I'll give it a.
How many dicks out of 11?
Remember,
you gave Iron Man 8.
I know. I'll give it.
You can go half a dick if you want. We can Lorena Bob at this.
No, I'm going to give it 6 pineapples out of 5 carrots.
Wow, that's like 120%. That's good stuff. 6 pineapples out of 5 carrots. That is how Nick ranks the movie. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. It's pretty much the same ranking, really. Nick's might be a little bit higher. I don't know if you can get high off pineapples and carrots, but
oh man,
I'm sure if you can find a way, Nick will. Yeah, America. We're just getting crazy. But yeah, so those are our impressions and movie reviews, quote unquote, of a couple of movies that we went to see. I went and saw Hangover 3.
You say it was good.
I said it was good. Certainly wasn't as good as, I feel like I'm just repeating some of the things I said from Iron Man. Wasn't as good as the first one. I don't think you'd ever get a sequel to the first Hangover movie that would be as good.
God no.
Because the first Hangover movie is like the ultimate fucking party movie. Like that's the movie that you want to get drunk and you want to watch the Hangover because you want to watch these idiots, right? Plus there's the Doug song and the Tiger and Mike Tyson. There's just so many, and Mike Tyson wasn't in this movie. No, and I was kind of disappointed. I kind of wanted to see Mike Tyson in this movie, but the third one was good. It was better than the second one, just based on the fact that it wasn't the same movie done a third time. It was a slightly different premise within the same construct of the Wolfpack needs to do X to find or save Doug.
Right.
Because that's the whole premise of the Hangover movies, which is fine. But it was just different. Like they weren't just going like, oh my God, we got to find Doug. It wasn't that this time. It's like, we got to save Doug because Doug is taken captive by John Goodman, who was fucking awesome. He doesn't get near enough screen time, but he was great. But this time they got to find Chow.
Chow.
So long, gay boys. So they got to find Chow. Chow has a lot of screen time in this movie, which is good and bad. Because I like Ken Jeong, who plays Chow, but I think he might have got a little too much screen time. But in any case, it was a good movie. It was better than the second one. Wasn't as good as the first one. Go see it in theaters because it's quite funny. There we go. Movie review portion of podcast
done.
Complete.
How
championship complete.
Where are we at in this?
Time wise, we are. Hey everybody.
Hi.
Hello on Ustream.
Justin just took down a page and it's now showing the Ustream.
We are an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh God.
We still got a lot of time to go.
Oh God.